What's going on, y'all? This is Crash Out Kings, where kings come to crash out. This is a therapeutic podcast. AOT, as always, take it off,
Yeah. Okay.
cause I'm
So
I'm I'm on your ass today.
yeah, because in recent times, I don't even know how to say this. Like, basically, we all know that Zilla just went down in a burning flame. So basically, the king is dead, as we said last time. And now I feel like it's a good time to talk about everybody kind of circulating because basically it's been Zilla at the top, but we have our B tiers. We have our guys that people care about. We got our darkies, we got our NASCARs. But when we were talking about this, I feel like we kind of felt the same about NASCAR. We kind of felt the same about Darky. But then we hit one where we had pretty differing opinions on because I was like, "Yo, I really like Josiah," and you're like, "What? That cornball, bro?" So I don't know. Maybe who do you think should start? Should I say why I like him? Or should you say why you don't like him? How are we gonna approach this?
I think, hey, you should always start off. Wait, no, actually, you should start off with the bad news first, right? Isn't that how it goes
You
when you're
think, or should I
delivering?
like set him up and then you can tell me why you disagree?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm not saying that I think Josiah is necessarily going to be the next guy to take over the throne because I think he's had that chance. I will admit there was a point where Josiah was really flying up. He had Shenanigans, which is a fucking banger of a song. He had Kxng Team, which I definitely prefer the 6ix9ine version. Sorry to tell you guys. He had a Lyrical Lemonade video. He didn't pick the best song for that. I'm not going to lie. Crisis is not my favorite Josiah song by any means. I don't think that's the one they should have picked. But at the same time, that's kind of where the disappointment came from for me, is that I felt like dude was just like leveling up, and then he came out with that one album, Josiah I Am. But then I feel like he came back with his next one, you know what I mean? So it's like, I'm not saying he's that guy, but when it comes to musical talent, he's like a kill switch. He's very good. He can do a lot of different styles. That's my opening statement when it comes to Josiah.
Yeah. So, I mean, here's how I seen it, bro. Like I said, like I've been kind of involved in this scene for a long time, and just kind of like when I first seen like him, Tokyo, and all these dudes start to kind of like come up out of nowhere, it didn't feel authentic, especially Josiah. Like it felt it felt like he was almost an industry plant because here's this dude popping up out of nowhere, right? Because this was at the pinnacle, right? This is what gives me suspicion. This was at the pinnacle of trap metal, right? And to me, I started to see labels start to kind of like formulate their own little build a bear
Mm.
fucking trap metal artist because they understood that there was a wave, right? And you've seen that in different genres with like Jumex, where he was just pretty much created. And I kind of felt the same about Josiah because something didn't resonate with my soul. And I think a lot of fans, including you, I think you guys almost missed that because you weren't actively making the music at the time
Mm.
and really I was in deep into like listening to the leprosies and then the Cameron Nazis. Like I was so deep involved in it, and then seeing this random dude pop up, it didn't feel right. And then the music was almost too clean. It felt almost too well packaged, I guess, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Where like the trap metal scene has always been rugged, right then and there, fuck it in your face. We don't give a fuck because that's what the fuck it was. But Josiah just seemed like he was also putting up on a costume. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like the Scar Lords, and even I think Zilla had a pretty big costume on too, because of the whole peace situation. Zilla was pretty much put in a position to fucking take the throne. But who knows if the kid even wanted to make music from the beginning? He started out as a ghostwriter.
Mm.
But back to Josiah, it's like it didn't feel like authentic. It didn't feel original. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Okay.
The kid, he's definitely talented, but then even like with the lyrical lemonade shit, like it's like this dude just jumped ahead of so many people, and then started getting all these like these crazy features from bigger artists that like it's like how the fuck did this happen? And if you ask me, there was a lot of shit going on behind the scenes, and I also think his music is mediocre, and
Okay.
that's not throwing shade. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, okay. So my counterpoint to that is that everybody in the scene always says that Zilla, like they're tired of the same old, like getting the feature from Zilla and copying him, doing that same old thing. Like I know you said that the scene was kind of like that with the leprosies. It was a little bit more creative there, but I feel like Josiah just did it in a different way, and I think that's why he blindsided all of you guys that were kind of in that field because he started off by buying reposts from Snot, which is what a lot of these artists did. Like emo rappers buy reposts from Little Tracy or Little Peep, you know what I mean? That gets you to a certain level. And then really a lot of how Josiah got started off was on a YouTube channel called Hive Mind, where basically is what I told you during that 2019 to 2021 part, which is kind of when you were coming up too. It was like these two genres were going neck to neck, trap metal and whatever you call net spend and all that stuff. They were kind of like neck and neck. And this channel called Hive Mind was doing videos for Josiah, which I know you probably like think, well, he's getting on a YouTube channel, like just like that. It seems a little industry planish, but they were doing it for really small people. Like, do you know who Suicide Rascal is?
Mm-mm.
They even had Flacco on there. You know what I mean? So, and Flacco
Mm-mm.
basically, and it just seemed like Josiah, out of this group of miscreants, It's Okay to Cry, who's kind of a trap metal artist, kind of was, just seemed to shine ahead. And then he teamed up with Snot. They made Case 19. And at that point, this was a little bit later on. Then he's doing the AMV route that all of you guys were doing. So that's why I feel like he came, like you guys feel like he came from nowhere. But he just kind of got his start in a different space and then kind of shifted over here, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, and I mean when you break it down like that, I definitely see where you're coming from, and I'm willing to fall on my sword and say that I'm not 100% sure that he was an industry plant, but when it comes to Josiah as an artist, it just seems like great value trap metal.
Hmm.
Honestly, it seems like great value trap, or honestly, to another degree though, it almost because I think about things in pictures, right? It almost seems like he's like he's like Gucci, like the designer brand. When like we were all like creating our own clothes. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? Like he's just kind of like he's a bigger brand, but it's like meh when it comes to like what this scene embodies, you know what I'm saying? And I think you can even see it with like him still posting like AMVs. Shout out Trash Gang because I love their AMVs, and they're like they're what they do will never get old. But when it comes to like us as artists, we've kind of all left behind like posting, promotional shit with AMVs and shit like that. But it seems like he is once again one of these Zilla characters who is just a character.
Hmm.
And you can even like for me, like I don't know, like I analyze shit differently, I guess. And looking at even his Instagram posts, I'm just like, it just seems so corny and like it seems so like forced. Like he's like
Yeah,
he's always
I get what you
like it's
mean.
just
Yeah.
it's like bruh, like like that's one thing. Like Zilla took it too far because he was just like, "What's up? I'm the dog boy." But
Yeah.
then Josiah's like, "Hey, I'm crazy."
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I could get that too, and I do somewhat feel like what you're saying with it's a little bit too clean, but I could also argue that at a certain point everybody gets corny. Like NASCAR at a certain point was super punk and cool, and then it was like, look, my hair's fucking exploding now. I got my hands in my shirt. Or like Skylord, I don't even want to get into that because that started corny. I'm sorry, guys,
Yeah.
but it's true. You know what I mean? I just feel like that just comes with when you start getting those bigger videographers. They just don't know how to do things in a like good way. Because I'm not gonna lie, there was a new video that Josiah did with Sempra, which is an amazing song. I actually think that Sempra is up next to fucking. I've only heard a couple songs, but I like everything so far. And he's like reading a book, and it's like how to deal with rage and shit. And I'm like, oh, but it doesn't feel like it's his fault. You know what I mean? It's like I just think that they get to this level, and then they got everybody around them being like, all right, do this. It's the lyrical lemonization of rap. Once you, because lyrical lemonade's always been fucking corny. Like, let's admit it, guys. Like, it's always like I go through a lot of videos. I'm not trying to get off topic, but like I go through a lot of videos when I'm trying to do the backdrops from like my videos and music videos. The lyrical lemonade ones past 2017 are usually always the worst video. Like you see all these videos from these guys, it's all consistent, you can tell, and then it's the lyric. It's like I'm in a yellow room with a bunch of minions, ha 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 ha. But you know what I mean? So it's like, is it justifiable to like? Why does Josiah get the corny label so much when they're all corny, bro?
Yeah, I mean, I can agree to that to some degree, but like you got to look at, it's what Zilla did was not all bad. Look at the videos, bro. Like for me, Josiah never seemed to have his own vision. It seemed like Josiah was a talented writer, had a pretty dope voice, and just saw the trap metal scene was like, oh yeah, 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 I want to imitate all this shit, and I'm gonna do this. And then he kind of got big, and I think that to go off what you say, I kind of disagree because I feel like when you do the lyrical thing and everything like that, like yeah, you're right. It gets super corny. Like look at the shit he did with G Herbo and all those dudes. It's
Mm.
super it's super corny. But at the same time, like I think back when Josiah first got on there, I think he had more of an opportunity to really push it because you can't tell me that if Zilla, Righteous P, and all those dudes got behind Lyrical Lemonade, that they wouldn't be able to like enforce their own creativity because their videos and their ideas were so fucking raw, original, and dope. Josiah lacks that. Josiah, his first video on Lyrical Lemonade, he was in a fucking straitjacket screaming in an asylum. It's like,
Yeah.
no, not the scream rapper who's insane, who's now in a fucking straitjacket. Makes sense, right? You know what I'm saying? Like there was never another component of I think his soul that he put into it to make trap metal his own thing. And
Yeah.
that's my biggest problem with him because he does not make bad songs,
Hmm.
but I don't think he makes impactful songs.
Yeah, but once again we're coming from the whole P angle because I do feel like that's why Zilla was never on Lyrical Lemonade because Cole Bennett would have never let them be out there with the drugs and the crazy shit and lighting shit on fire. He probably would have watered it down. But we're talking about like a master videographer and like idea maker here with Righteous P. Like, yeah, if you compare him to Zilla, like I kind of understand that, but does NASCAR have a consistent vision? Does Scarlord have a consistent vision besides just I'm in grey streets in London screaming in my chop metal costume? Like, you know what I mean? I get what you mean, but in every genre, it seems like there's not a lot of consistency from video to video. We could even talk about Snot. It's like you got Gosha where he's like in a bathroom with like dripped out really cool visuals, and then he's like standing on top of a car in a racetrack just like you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but I feel like that's still like you still know like that still has that snot stamp on it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because just because it's great value, it doesn't mean that there's different products. It seemed like Josiah lacked that. Like I still Josiah is just a name tied to for me a bunch of corny images and kind of
Yeah.
mediocre safe songs. And for me, like for an example, like you said that was snot. It's true. Like there's different kind of videos, but it always had that like that certified snot stamp on it. You know what I'm saying? Where Josiah, it just seems like he is just like being directed like, hey, go we're gonna go to a medieval looking room and have you sitting on a chair with like these girls sitting. It's just it didn't seem like this dude had a soul and an actual like a burning passion that like that like he was doing himself that really could have like made such an impact on this genre. You know what I'm saying? And I
Mm.
think that that's why he's stagnant is because he is now torn between this costume and then everybody else telling him where to go and what to do. It just doesn't seem authentic to me, I guess. And
Mm.
that's why I did like I hate to keep bringing up Zilla and stuff, but that's why I did fuck with the whole thing because their whole image, from their clothes to their videographers, from everything, their pictures, it all made sense. It all was packaged into it. Fuck being pretty, it was packaged into that brand. With
Mm.
Josiah, it just seems so fucking corny. And then with even with NASCAR, right? So NASCAR, you could say it's corny. I don't think NASCAR is corny. I think the kid is just mentally disturbed and probably doing way too much ketamine, and he's
Mm.
just like drowning. But I think when it comes to his image, it made sense. I used to know NASCAR back in the day before he blew up. You feel me?
Mm.
I was supposed to do a deal with his manager and shit like that. And we almost had a song and everything like that. I flaked on the song because I was doing other shit at the time. But from the beginning to the end, I seen the vision. I remember when NASCAR was still in North Carolina and I was, hanging out with fucking His Next Door and Dirty Butt and all those dudes and like watching him. One time he previewed a video for me before it dropped and like I saw what is happening now.
Mm.
I just think that sometimes things crash and burn,
Yeah.
but I don't think I ever saw him as being corny. He's just a fucking, I think he embodies the grunge scene and I think he is exactly what grunge is. But I think what NASCAR happened to NASCAR is that he's lacking professionalism and I think he's falling too much into the NASCAR artist or character
Mm.
where now he's drinking probably all the time, doing all these fucking drugs, and now it just becomes more of like a game to him than an actual career because
Yeah.
he's probably he's obviously got Dirty Bud and Raina and all these dudes running around doing all his dirty work, So now the kid has no responsibility but to hop on these songs. And no offense, but grunge doesn't really take a lot of creativity. It seems like grunge is grunge.
Mm.
So you got to do like NASCAR, who pretty much created that whole wave. Now he just hops on the mic and does whatever, and people are going to suck his dick about it.
Mm.
But I don't think it was ever corny, or it didn't. It never seemed forced. When I
Yeah.
see NASCAR in his gear, doing his music shit, his music videos, I I can see the vision. With Josiah, just seems like some Walmart brand type shit.
And it's like, okay, so I get what you're saying, because it's like I do see too where it's like it's a little bit too clean, but it also makes me wonder, why do we think that, right? Is it because it happened too fast, like you guys said, that he kind of ran it up too quick? Is it because there's no face tattoos? There's no, like, it almost makes me think that within trap metal, we almost expect, like, we want to break away from Zilla, but then we also want people who look like him. We want, like, I'm not saying, like, yes, NASCAR was different in a different way because it kind of took the City Morgue thing and made it punk. But then, let's talk about Little Nar, right? He basically literally put on a Zillakami costume, and everybody
Facts.
loved it as well. And they were like, okay, this is, even
Yeah.
though it was the exact same thing. So, you know what I mean? Like, I can see where, and he's a good example too, because he literally, like, skinwalked trap metal for like 3 songs and then was like, I'm gonna be an Atlanta rapper now, thanks for the clout, bye. And I feel like that's what people think about Josiah too. But the thing about him is that where City Morgue grew stale with album after album of the same thing, I've heard Josiah make like music with bands that's fucking awesome. I've heard him make music that sounds more like anime style, like, I'm gonna set this place on fire, and it's like you could hear that in the anime. Like, he's just got so many different styles, and it's like when you listen to a Josiah song, you're not always gonna get the same thing. And I think that's what really brings me back to him. It's like, Shenanigans is different from Case 19. Case 19 is different from break shit. You know what I mean? It's different styles every single time, and I just feel like I can see where it's corny, but it's like, is it also just because it's too different from the same kind of path? Like, we're kind of gatekeeping a little bit here, being like, you got to start out like this, do features with these guys, get AMVs, and then kind of, look like a face tatted, crazy, sharp tooth rapper. Like, do you think if Josiah put some girls in, dyed his hair, and got some face tattoos, he'd be more
No.
accepted? You don't think
No,
so?
I see where you're going, but no, no, that's not the point I'm making at all.
Hmm.
It's just fucking corny. Like, even if he, and this is to go against your point again,
Yeah.
Josiah could throw on the heavy costume,
Yeah.
and he won't be able to wear it.
No, you don't
At
think
least
so?
that's what it is. That's what it is. It's that at least we believe the Zilla costume. We fed into the fucking Scarlord costume, but he's wearing a costume and he looks uncomfortable in it. I'm like he's
Yeah.
just like, it's so forced. It feels like, and then the lyrics are, I think, once again, mediocre. Like you said, I'ma burn this bitch up. Like, it's like there's no meat and potatoes to this dude's music. It's like
Hmm.
he literally is like Drake. He's the Drake of the underground scene, where he just like is a fucking trap metal vulture. He's just like, oh, yep, that's cool. Oh yeah, that's cool. Okay, I'm gonna bag it up here because the dude is a great musician.
Hmm.
He does make good music. It's just too easy to digest. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want some tang. I want some spice. Like, I want a little bit of like a, what the fuck was that? You know what I'm saying? Like, with him, it just seems like, and with an artist, right? This is advice for all upcoming artists right now, right? Like Twisted said, you have to have the music videos, you have to have the visuals, you have to have all these components. Because right now, after the Little Pump saga, it's more about your visual aesthetic than it is almost the music. As
Hmm.
sad as it is, Instagram is the human menu. A&Rs are going to Instagram to basically scout for these people, because now Instagram is acting as an A&R. Because now these labels can go to Instagram and say, oh, look, okay, I can see the way he might photograph with our cameras. Okay, I can see he's getting some good likes, some good activity. Okay, I can see the music videos. I see the funniness. That's what Instagram is. And to take it back to what I'm saying, it just seems like when you look at all of the things that comprise Josiah as an artist, it seems unauthentic, and it seems regurgitated, and it seems like he's just not comfortable. Or it seems like he's like your little brother putting on your clothes. And he's like, yo, you ready to like go out now? And you're like,
Yeah.
come on, man, let's go. You know what I'm saying? And I think
Yeah.
that he has such a wave and a machine behind him that
Hmm.
that's why people keep fucking with him. And bro, I think that he's got some people behind him who are unseen, who are trying to push an agenda to
Hmm.
get him to the top. It just doesn't seem like, bro, I don't know, man. Like I said, even him still using AMVs, it's like, shout out to Trash King again, but it's like what's his thing? Like what
Hmm.
okay, so right now to you, what is Josiah? Like what has Josiah done for the trap metal scene? And how has he made his claim?
Okay, so
What
this is
is it?
yeah.
What's different about him that's not like,
Okay.
what's the difference here?
I see what you're saying when it comes, and I definitely agree with you with the whole like persona, whatever you want to say. Like the Josiah's persona definitely is kind of lacking. But like I said before, the thing about Josiah, which is very rare, I discovered him before I knew what he looked like. So you know what I mean. For music to jump out with me with a fucking SpongeBob profile, like a SpongeBob picture, is pretty rare. The only other people who have really done that is Killswitch, like I said. But I went through a similar thing with Killswitch that when I seen the dude, I was like, oh god, no. I liked looking at the album cover and being like, he's got tape on his face. This dude much. And then I seen him and I'm like, okay, so he's like a long haired, like Two Little Moon, like he kind of looks like a female, like. And I was like, oh god, no. But at the same time, I feel like if you strip both of their personas away, the music clears a lot of the fucking music in trap metal. NASCAR, I think I'm only so attracted to him because I'm sorry I keep bringing him up, but like I like his look. But if you just listen to an album on repeat without the visuals, without everything,
Horrible.
the album sucks. But Josiah can put together a good
Horrible.
album. Killswitch can put together a good album. So why is it that like they're lacking in the persona field? But their music is so much better. But then these guys who have the big personas, they make trash music because I feel like the persona does the heavy lifting for them. Josiah has to try
Yeah.
harder because he looks so corny and people. So when he sits down and makes his music, it's fucking. So that's what I would say. What does he bring to the genre? Well, he brings something. I can't completely articulate the style, but he brings a different type of music, like and he brings like different variety with his music. It's not just another it's more like, if you could say it's corny, but it's like choir singing. Like it's more like it kind of almost what 6ix9ine does, but with a little bit more lyricism. It's not just blicky got the sticky, you know what I mean. That's what I would say he would bring. He had really good music, but it is hard to argue for his persona. I do have to say that.
And the thing is, I'm not trying to say that persona is all you need. I just think, and I think you know this too,
Hmm.
and that's why I'm gonna go back to what you said. Yo, kids, get visuals so that what? What did you say in your last one? So what? People can see you.
Hmm.
Remember, you made it a point to let artists know if they want to blow up, you can't just drop songs anymore. You
Hmm.
know, because guess what? You're not gonna be a good songwriter and vocalist as Josiah. So I'm pushing the point that like what you did. It's you have to have these visuals, you have to have this aesthetic, you have to have this personality, and then the music. You have to be well rounded as an artist. And I just don't see Josiah ascending the throne being so finicky or so. He's just such a timid artist to me. If you feel like I feel like
Okay, so
like when I listen to a Josiah song, I'm not like, oh, this nigga hard. Like fuck, he might smash my face in. I'm like, this dude is screaming on a song, and it's like it just feels so forced to me, bro. And I honestly don't even think his vocals are that super dope either.
okay, so this is what I would ask you then, and like genuine question, because well, I wasn't there for it, but you did an interview with an artist recently. I ended up posting it on the trap metal Reddit, and everybody basically said like, this kid's corny, but yet we don't like. So basically, they were saying this dude was putting on a persona that wasn't really him. So we want more authenticity in the genre. What do these people do like Josiah, who, you know what I mean? Was trying to be more authentic to himself, but he's just corny. Like, you know what I mean? Like, say for me, if I wanted to get into the genre, what would I do? Like, is it better for me to try to put on a costume? That would fall apart eventually. So, like, how can people who are just naturally corny be authentic and still survive in the genre? Is basically what I'm trying to ask.
Perfect question. Be yourself.
Hmm.
That's it. Because there's something within human nature, right? Like there's so many like things that like we are picking up in our other senses that like even science is yet to explain, which is why like they say you can cut the tension with a knife. Why
Hmm.
is it that when you walk into a room, you can feel something? You get goosebumps. It's like there's things that happen. So my point being is that when you are 100% yourself and you put yourself into the persona, then we will all follow behind it because it's you. It is who you are. 6ix9ine. People fucking hated him, but they loved him because he was naturally a fucking dickhead New Yorker. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think my advice is that if Josiah started to do corny shit that was just who he really was, I don't think it would be corny. I think it would be himself. Like, growing up for me, I was always into animation like that, but I had to hide that from like my cousins who were gangbangers and shit like that because I thought they wouldn't fuck with it. So then what would I do as a kid? I would go try to be like hard like them. And like you could see it in their eyes that they knew it was a facade. But then once I opened up and I was just that like just that fucking nerd who had them hands and who was really with the shits, but genuinely just still a nerd. Where they're talking about shit and I'm like, yo, did y'all see that new Dragon Ball Z? And they're like, nigga, shut up. But it was like I was the homie finally, and they're like, you know what I'm saying? And then I seen like niggas like that start to send me like shit like, yo, you should draw Goku like and gold chains and shit. They
Yeah.
started to embrace it and they saw it and they were and they embraced it. So I just urge people like Josiah to just start to, because you cannot tell me, Twisted, that what you see online is who Josiah is if you went and hung out with the dude.
Yeah.
Fuck
You
no.
don't think it's
Fuck
authentic?
no.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it is. I don't think he's crazy. I don't think he's like super lit. Now with niggas like NASCAR, I've hung out with the kid. I had him jump into a fucking industrial ceiling fan one time, and the dude was like, he was just with the shits, like he ate dog shit like this dude, and then you see him behind the scenes. He is really that fucking crazy, and he is really that dirty. Like he looks like a dirty wet dog, but he is that dirty wet dog on camera and off camera. Who the fuck is Josiah off camera is my question, because something with my human instinct is not believing that he is who he is. And like once again, I'm just that guy who wants that authentic kind of approach to music. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to feel like I want to feel like I'm a part of whatever it is you have going on because I can trust it.
Yeah, I can agree. I can agree with that. That it does come off as unauthentic. But there is one point that you did mention that I do kind of want to call you on, because you said like 6ix9ine really was who he was. I would disagree with that. I think 6ix9ine was playing the biggest character out of probably everybody else. He was a dickhead New Yorker, but we seen him after the snitching and everything. He's just like a little, jokey kid, little class clown. He played a character, but what about it? Because he played into it and it seemed like he did it better than anybody else. So in that circumstance, I guess playing a character did work. You think if 6ix9ine had he just been that jokey guy, you think he would have been able to get to the level that he did, or?
I I com- I disagree, and I agree at the same time because 6ix9ine, the 6ix9ine that we all that people think they knew when he was with Zilla and them, that was the fake him. When
Yeah.
6ix9ine was at the height of his career, when you have money, power, and protection, you become who you truly are, right? And I think the dude, we saw his true nature, right? Because he never really tried to act too gangster, because he was always like, I got my niggas who will kill you. You know what I'm saying? Like he
Yeah.
never was like, I shoot you, nigga. No, he was like, I'm with the Bloods. I'm with my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then he was talking his shit and being funny. I think all the trolling was super fucking funny and kid like. You know what I'm saying? And I think that before then is when he was playing the character to try to get all the connections, to try to be that cool dude. But when he got the money and the power, he was more of himself to be like, because I think he said what he wanted to say. Because think about this, Adam from No Jumper just made he just did a podcast with fucking I think Designer, and he was talking about, or maybe it wasn't Designer, it was some artist, but he was talking about like some artists being on now and being able to talk their shit, because he said that he witnessed 6ix9ine hold back punches at the beginning of his career towards Trippie Redd, because Trippie was the bigger artist. And then he specifically said when 6ix9ine became bigger than Trippie, he let it rain on him. And
Yeah.
that's because he was able to speak his mind. I think the kid we saw online was really him. Because we all want to be like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And guess what? I'm gonna make fun of you, and I'm gonna make fun of you. He was trolling. He was putting on 50 Cent's fucking like baggy clothes and jogging on a treadmill and shit, making fun of 50 Cent when 50 Cent was trying to troll him, and 50 Cent's the biggest troll. So I think he became who the fuck he was after the power came.
Yeah, but I mean, like he was. See, yeah, that makes sense because there must have been some authenticity. I also agree that I think in both cases he wasn't who he was when he was with Zilla. Like I definitely agree with that. That was they all wore that costume. Sos isn't really like that. Zilla's really, and 6ix9ine wasn't really like that. He didn't want to put on those fucking crust pants and shit. But at the same time, it's like you know, he wasn't a blood. So in some way, he still had to use shit that he wasn't to still put what he was out there. You know what I mean? Like, it just kind of comes down to like, he still, because there definitely was a point in his career when he made Gotti that he could have probably left the blood shit behind and still done well, but could have 6ix9ine could Gummo have been the hit that it was without the blood
No,
decorations? You know what I
no.
mean? So he still had to be unauthentic for him to be his most authentic self. You get what I mean?
Yeah, but here's what I think it was too. I
Hmm.
think that with 6ix9ine, I think that he constructed it perfect. He blew up overseas, came back and said, "Shotty, listen," because 6ix9ine was on the block.
Hmm.
So 6ix9ine is not this Josiah. Josiah can't go to the hood.
Hmm.
Josiah can't survive in the concrete jungle for real, for real. He
Hmm.
get his ass ate the fuck up. At least, although 6ix9ine was probably a pussy, couldn't fight, and a bitch, he still had the ability to survive in the motherfucking streets of New York City and
Hmm.
in the worst parts. So when he got that bag, he came back and was like, "Yo, y'all niggas back me." Because why? Because he wanted to be himself. And
Hmm.
6ix9ine knew that he couldn't talk the shit that he wanted to talk without his Knight's Guard, without the power force behind him called the Bloods. But if you ask me, 6ix9ine's like pretending of being a blood, it never came off as like we all knew what it was. He
Hmm.
did interviews about it. Oh yeah, he said it. I blew up, I went to fucking Shoddy and said, "Yo, back me." And then these niggas back me.
Hmm.
So is it a facade or is it fake when you tell it's fake? It's when if Josiah was like, "Yo, honestly, I like the trap metal scene, and I just want to like dress like these people and like sing like them and shit." But like, here's who I really am. You know what I'm saying? But
Hmm.
with 6ix9ine, it was like it was fed to us. Like it was known, and then he was talking shit because guess what? Even if he wasn't a real blood, which everyone kind of knew he wasn't, because but he wasn't, because they got on podcasts and they were talking like, "Yo, we basically put this nigga on." So we knew what it was, and we knew that how it can't be fake if actual gang members are saying we accept this kid.
Hmm.
Josiah doesn't have that same backing of people like who are really with the shits or who are with whatever, being like, we back this dude. With 6ix9ine, he had these motherfuckers who were really killing people like, yo, we back him, and it could be just because he has money, but guess what? He can now hop online and say whatever the fuck he wants, and y'all not gonna do shit about it.
Yeah. I think that, yeah, that gives me a lot to think about. That's actually, I never thought of it that way before. But that's
Like
kind
we
of what,
seen it.
yeah.
You know, we seen it. He gave it to us. Like, yeah, I'm a fake blood, but guess what? They'll still kill you. So
That's
how
kind
fake am I?
Yeah, that's kind of why I wanted to get into this whole like conversation, because I always did wonder why to other people, like I didn't have the perspective of, like, why did, and I always was kind of like, well, Josiah seemed like he should have got to where he was, but then it was like, it was that first album was so bad where he tried to go in so many different directions and that really fucked him up. But like, I get what you mean. It's like it makes sense why these guys kind of remain, I don't want to say side characters, but B tier rappers, because it's like I guess they just don't have that. But it's like, do we think that Tokyo, like, what was so alluring about Tokyo? Because it almost seems like the same thing as Josiah, like, or do you just think that he was being more himself?
I think Tokyo is just being more himself because Tokyo almost came off a little bit corny, but I think Tokyo was being more of himself. And there's even something about the way people artists say words or say rap songs. Maybe I'm just very analytical when it comes to that, but when I heard fucking Tokyo, I just heard it felt real too. And then I saw the
Hmm.
pictures and I was kind of disappointed because I'm like, because guess what, guys? Let's let the fucking bag out the let's let the cat out the bag. We like our rappers, like our rappers are like superheroes. That's why I started rapping because
Hmm.
Tupac was what got me started, and I'm like, yo, this dude is like Superman. He's like the Black Superman. You know what I'm saying? But in real life, that's what rappers are. We have the potential and the ability to drive people, to make people feel ways, to incite certain emotions. So we let's stop acting like you're not supposed to have at least like a dope ass like, and it doesn't have to be a costume, but just be you, and let us fall in love with the genuine character who you really are, because it's like I think it was Socrates. He said we have three masks, right? The one we show to the world, our loved ones, and ourselves, right? So I think the great artist is able to show the world the one that he only shows himself.
Hmm.
And I think that's what makes it great. That's why you have the Kanye West. He's batshit crazy, but the man has made more impact on this whole fucking rap and genre, even probably leaks into our genre and shit like that. It's because Kanye does not care to be Kanye. Kanye is Kanye.
Hmm.
Kanye represents being yourself. no matter if the world hates it or not. So, and I get it though, bro, because like me being black, white, and Puerto Rican, I've struggled with identity problems too. So it's not an easy thing to really embrace yourself. But prison really helped me say, I don't give a fuck. Because if you like me, bro. And if you don't, then guess what? I can turn this computer off and go the fuck outside, and the
Mm.
world still is moving around me.
Yeah, and so that's where I feel like that Zilla, like, I feel it's like going back to what you said before, where you kind of like were playing it up and you were like, yeah, let's go, and then you kind of showed that other side. I feel like Zilla like mastered it all. Like he had the look, because it's like you said, it is true. We do want our rappers to look a certain way, because I have been disappointed time and time again when I let like Kill Switch. I guess Tokyo kind of fit the type of shit. It was kind of like dirty music, and he looked pretty fucking dirty. I'm not gonna lie, so that kind of works. But like with Zilla, I just think there should have been a point when he should have been comfortable enough to be like, "Yo, I like video games too," you know? Because like even when we first talked, I'm like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna be talking to like super gang member here," you know what I mean? Like this is good, and then we get talking, and it's like once you get that relatability, you want the cool persona, but then you want the relatability too. And I think that's kind of like what Zilla was lacking. He put himself in this weird way, you know what I mean? And yeah, even when you say that about Josiah, it's kind of similar to Josiah too. It's like he doesn't let people in. There's no relatability, I guess, in that way when
Yeah.
it comes to him. There's no like I get what you mean. It's like, dude, what are these guys really about? Like even with NASCAR, I guess like, well, I know what he's about: alcohol and fucking drugs and like getting naked and fucking rubbing his ass on the stage and shit, which is weird, but it's him, you know what I mean? So, but and I guess a perfect example of that though would be Darky, and I feel like that's why Darky has all the cartoons and all the shit, because I've always looked at trap metal like this. At the very top, you got somebody like Josiah. That's the easy. Mainstream likes that. Okay, say if you're a normal guy, normal white dude, okay, yeah, that's kind of cool. He's screaming. Then you got Zilla. Okay, this guy's a little bit sharper, a little bit. Okay, then you go down, you got NASCAR now. Okay, this guy's even more aggressive. Darky's like at the bottom. This is like toilet bowl fucking music, like scraping and screeching from under the bed, schizophrenic shit. But then you see the dude, and he's just like a bald Indian guy, you know what I mean? And it's like, so I think that's why he's got like the dark character, because Darky really, his music comes off as he's just a wave of just energy. Like even him being a person at all, and especially being a person that looks like that. Not like I'm not saying like as I look like this too, it's fine. But I'm just saying, yeah, it doesn't fit with the type of music he makes. That's for sure.
Yeah, like I said, man, we just like we all like. That's why we like to follow. Okay, why do you think celebrities have so many Instagram followers?
Hmm.
Because people want to see you. People want to see you, and they like. Listen, man, as an artist, like if you have girls wanting to be with you and dudes wanting to be you, hey, you won, dog. You know what I'm saying? And you don't have to be the prettiest motherfucker like me.
Hmm.
But you can be original and you can fucking dress the way you want to dress. And these are the things that we need in them. And this is why I'm not going to give Josiah a pass. Is because Josiah is in a position where he can really kind of like start to dig trap metal out of this pit by just kind of like veering off and creating like a side branch of just his own flavor. There is no Josiah flavor. There is
Hmm.
no Josiah like like he has a brand, but there's no specific flavor, bro. Like he's just another like Dorito, like you know what I'm saying? Like it's not there's nothing specific about him. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's just if you ask me.
Yeah. I agree. Like that has always been like the thing with me, is that like with shenanigans and everything. Like I said, I'm always gonna like the music. I think, like you said, he's a great musician in that type of way. But yeah, when it comes to that side of things, but it's like now it's even hard to even argue now, because I'm just like thinking about so many different aspects of the whole scene. Like we really cracked open and got to like the scene as a whole. It's like a scene wide problem, because it's like nobody is able to hit that perfect balance of being cool enough to get people's attention, but being relatable enough to actually draw people in to want to get it further.
Bro, look at Extentacion, bro, and Ski Mask.
Hmm.
Does anybody remember what these motherfuckers were in pictures doing? All right. Oh, I'm so glad I thought about this. Think about like, bro, at that time, back in like 2016, nigga, or 2017, I seen more videos of X going like this, dancing and like fucking tasing his friends
Hmm.
and just in the car with someone putting a camera on him being like viral pussy, ho. Like you fell in love with X as a person, and then he had the music to back it. But guess what? X never wore designer. X never wore the trap metal costume. X was wearing fucking random ass shit. Like, you just see the shit he would go to Rolling Loud in? It'd be like pajama pants, high black socks that are cuffing the pajama pants, Air Force Ones, and no shirt.
Hmm.
You know, and it's like, but we love that. We love that this dude would just like he was so himself, and even Ski Mask back in the early days, Ski Mask looked like some shit straight out of a thrift store.
Yeah.
You know, he had a pink Gucci shirt on with some black ripped up pants with like a fucking like a Yu-Gi-Oh belt buckle, and it's like what the fuck? That was cool, bro.
And,
Where's all that now?
yeah, and you actually just like you hit the perfect point because even going farther than that, if we want to explain like actually a portion of why the SoundCloud wave died and why Instagram is dead as well, because you just brought me back to high school when I was 17, watching people like 6ix9ine, watching people like X and all this. It's like 6ix9ine would do a video on Instagram, hop off a plane and be like, yo, I'm gonna go play a show tonight. That was a part of his life. You were like, yo, we're like actively watching the lives of these cool rappers. Like they were giving us the
Yeah.
full thing. It was like, yo, I'm at a fucking like, hey, this is the second time I post on Instagram. I'm at a and it's like, yo, nowadays it's like we just get these cultivated pictures of just like, you know what I mean? It's like you're giving us nothing into your life, so why do we care? You know what I mean? That's how Instagram really died because it's like, and I think that's why there was so much more drama then because we were seeing so much more of these people's lives. It's like 6ix9ine was like, I'm hopping off a plane, then I'm in a car talking shit on Bad Baby, and the Bad Baby's like posting 5 videos a day and being like, yo, I just seen 6ix9ine diss me, and we're just like, yo, we can actively this whole ecosystem we can jump where it's like if everybody's just posting pictures like this or like got a skull mask on, it's like what are we seeing? What is your life, bro? You need to be willing to give
Exactly.
more. And that, yeah, that's actually like a good point that you hit there because I've been wondering why Instagram has felt so dead, why nothing's connected, and why trap metal as a whole doesn't feel connected whatsoever because we're all just showing such a little part of ourselves playing characters, and that whole rapper lifestyle that you're trying to sell, we're not seeing it. We're not seeing the great lifestyle you're living where you're hopping off a plane. And I know not everybody has money like that, but I just feel like that's what it was. It felt more real. It felt like that was
And
something
you
I
don't,
could do.
yeah.
Now it's like,
And you don't even need money, bro. You know?
no, you just gotta like, I think it would even be dope, like just to see like, yo, we're gonna do like a 2 minute video like at the studio. You know what I mean? Like we're going to make music today. I'm linking with this dude. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how we can get back to that, but I feel like that really was the magic of like SoundCloud and Instagram, like at that certain point. So
Yeah, no, and hey, can you cut this part out?
yeah,
Fuck. Damn, you hit some good parts. Okay, am I back? Because my computer is about to die.
yeah,
Okay, hold up. Actually, let me plug in my computer. Sorry about that, bro. I just didn't want it to shut off on us.
all good.
Um. But yeah. So you know, it's like you were saying, bro. That's what it lacks, and that's why the T Grizzlies are dope to me because they're going and they're playing video games online. They're interacting with their fan base. They're showing us because like me and Leprosy might start to do like Twitch and shit or like, like play video games and shit because when you're on there, you're just talking your shit. You're being who you are, and you don't need money. It's like you said because think about what like once again back to X and them, bro. X was the viral fucking king, and all he did was just it was just him and like fucking Kxng or somebody else, Fat Boy Tarantino, whatever. Just like in Walmart, you would see them in Walmart, and fucking like I said, X would be in the corner, like dancing, you
Yeah,
know, and it just felt so at home. Like you felt like, yo, these dudes are normal people who are just clouded the fuck up and who know what the fuck they're doing. And instead of these Josiahs, who it seems so there's such a detachment with him, and I feel like the people,
yeah,
you know, like you don't feel like at home when you think about Josiah. But when you think about X, X was able to like beat so many allegations and still have his name where it is, even despite of the allegations. It's because I think people gravitated towards X more as a person, and that's why the Sexy Reds and the Cardi B's are at the top of the game. It's because people fell in love and people are in love with who they are as people.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? Sexy Red going online, holding Chief Keef's chain because Chief Keef's baby mama don't like him, and being like, "Ha ha, I got your nigga."
mm,
Like that shit's cool. Like now we're seeing like
yeah,
her be petty. We're
yeah,
seeing her be funny. Like let's not be scared to like show those other sides. It's scary, y'all. Trust me. Like even me doing this podcast at first, I'm like, damn, because King has been this image on Instagram and shit like that for so long, and then just in the music, that now me speaking, it felt a little bit uncomfortable at first, but then I had to remind myself like I can't be nobody else. This is who the fuck I am. So
Mm.
just be who you are, and you liberate yourself from stress and anxiety and depression. Because a lot of the anxiety and depression that you guys are going through, it's because you're having identity crisis.
Yeah,
How can you work on yourself? How can you work on yourself if you don't really know yourself?
yeah, and it's like, it's crazy because I just feel like even going like with everything you're saying, it's like I'm thinking more and more, and it's like I almost feel like I'm having a fucking. It's gonna come off as corny, but like an epiphany because it's like I feel like that's why people are so much more depressed because we're not everything we're being fed online is just fake or it's just so set up or it's just like there's no more authenticity of like we're really getting to peer into these people's lives. And sure, it was a little bit fake, and like I think that goes back to the 6ix9ine thing. It was a little bit played up, it was a little bit done up, but it was still there was still something raw and real there. And it's like I feel like that's why I haven't been able to attach to any YouTubers as an adult because they're all just giving so little of themselves. I feel like that's why I haven't been able to attach to any new rappers because they give such little. Like what the mysterious shit is like. Okay, what draws me to Yeet? Compared to why I was so drawn to 6ix9ine is because it was like, bro, like I can see myself in this. I can't see myself as Snot. I can't see myself as Yeet. I can't see myself as Xavier so based. I can't because they're giving us so little. And I think that's actually a fucking problem with like I don't want to go so broad, but like the rap game and also just the internet as a whole is that we're being fed so much fake shit, so much done up shit, and I just think that we need to get back to the place where it's just more authentic. And I think that's why like you said, streamers, podcasts are doing well because you can't keep up a persona that long on this stuff, and that's what people want to see. They're not getting that human connection in real life and they're not getting it through these people who are doing these done up things. So they want to see something like this. Like, and I just, I always feel like we should just close it off there because we don't want to give them too much more of the sauce. But I
Yeah.
think we fucking hit bedrock with that one. I gotta say, yeah,
Yeah, I think so too, man. Because I think that the Snots and Josiahs, they all have so much of their personality to give that we would all love to see. Because they're funny people. You can't tell me that you make dope music like that and you're not funny too. Like, let's see more funny clips. Let's see Snot without the hoodie on. Like,
yeah, yeah.
like you know, like let's. Yeah, I don't know.
Let's try to break it down because I've talked to people who are friends with Josiah and they're like, yeah, he's a really cool dude, and it's like I think that's why there's so many kids in the industry that are just like vying to get the attention of these big artists because they're getting nothing from them and they're just such monoliths and it's causing problems. It's giving them weird egos because they're not letting people see the other sides of them. It's creating a huge disconnect between fans because they're getting literally dripped not like and it goes back to it. I guess we'll bring Zilla up one more time. That's why Zilla felt like he was so much larger than life because he was giving us so little. But I don't think we're ever going to see another artist that's ever going to be able to do that again. We need to ask for more. I feel like now, like we
Yeah,
can't let these people
it's
give us the bare minimum and accept them as our gods because as we all seen, I mean, you and me already kind of knew, but a lot of these fans said, bro, I thought Zilla was that guy. We didn't realize. And then one crack in the mask, and it was over because he wasn't that, and he never was, man. So,
yeah. I think we fucked this one up, bro, in the best way possible.
yeah.
Yeah, hey, it's always a pleasure debating. I don't think I think people have this perception that me and you are like in cahoots, and we always plan shit out, and we always are on the same wavelength.
Mm,
But I think why we will succeed is because we keep our relationship very professional, and I'll always speak my mind, and I know you will too, man. Listen,
mm.
guys, this has been another episode of Crash Out Kings. Let's get it. Please like, comment, and subscribe, man. We want to
Yeah.
hear y'all's thoughts.
All right, for sure. Appreciate you guys. Peace out.